2024 thriller blockbuster Azrael. The movie has grossed $48 million in its opening week, with a strong 8.7 rating in North America. The story takes place in an alternate universe, not far from now. In 2025, Earth plunged into World War III after a series of nuclear strikes. Human civilization was wiped out. But worse than the apocalypse itself was the rise of mutated humans, deformed by radiation and driven by bloodlust. These creatures, pitch black and monstrous, swarm toward the scent of blood. Survivors call them simply monsters. Amid the chaos, a young girl named Azrael wanders the post-apocalyptic world. A few days earlier, she and her boyfriend Keenan joined a survivor camp, hoping for safety. Instead, they were tied up and locked in a dark room. Quick-witted, Keenan helped them escape under the cover of night, fleeing into the forest. But safety was short-lived. Strange bird calls echoed through the trees. A signal from the camp's guards. They had been discovered. Keenan distracted the pursuers so Azrael could escape. They planned to meet later at a creek behind the mountain. But before Azrael could get far, a man blocked her path. In the struggle that followed, Azrael learned Keenan had been captured too. Both were thrown into a car and taken back to the camp. Azrael woke up tied to a chair in an open field. A woman, named Josephine, slashed her thigh, letting the blood drip. Soon growls came from the forest. Monsters were approaching. Satisfied, Josephine and her group hid nearby. Azrael struggled to escape and accidentally broke the chair's armrest. Just as she was about to free herself, the guards noticed and tried to subdue her. Using the broken armrest as a weapon, she stabbed one of them. The wounded man vanished, dragged away by the monster. Azrael fled into nearby ruins. While tending her wound, a monster appeared, drawn by the blood. She quickly hid and managed to stay quiet. Since the monster was blind and relied on scent, it eventually wandered off. After treating her wound, Azrael sneaked back into the camp to find Keenan. She entered through the hole they'd escaped from earlier, but Keenan and the other survivors were gone. Then Josephine was seen entering a wooden house. Azrael followed, thinking Keenan might be inside. But it wasn't a house. It was a church. Survivors were gathered in prayer, led by a woman in a white robe. From a higher floor, Azrael eavesdropped. The robed woman's name was Miriam, the true leader of the camp. The survivors were fanatical worshippers of the monsters, luring new survivors only to sacrifice them in the forest. Learning that Azrael had escaped, Miriam ordered Josephine to hunt her down. Azrael tried to crawl away quietly but accidentally hit a pillar. The sound gave her away. Josephine suddenly appeared and tried to strangle her. In panic, Azrael kicked her off and ran. She broke through the camp's barbed wire, triggering an alarm. With survivors chasing her, she ran deep into the forest. Exhausted, she finally stopped, only to sense a monster nearby. The barbed wire had scratched her hand, and the blood attracted the creature. Azrael used the terrain to hide and bandaged her wound. Then a faint light appeared in the distance. Approaching it carefully, she found Keenan by a fire. Relieved, she ran toward him, only to trigger a trap. A man appeared, shotgun ready, but before he could act, a monster pounced on him. Azrael's reopened wound had again drawn the creature. She climbed a tree to escape as the man was dragged away. Trying to rescue Keenan, she approached, but another monster emerged. It killed Keenan instantly, then turned to her. In desperation, she used a rope to strangle the monster, killing it. Standing over Keenan's body, grief turned into rage. She picked up the shotgun and headed back for revenge. That night, she snuck into Miriam's room to kill her, but upon seeing Miriam's pregnant belly, she hesitated. Miriam took the chance to attack and knocked Azrael unconscious. Azrael awoke in a wooden box. The lid was sealed. She feared she'd be buried alive. But beneath her feet was a lamp and a tunnel. Crawling through the dark tunnel for what felt like forever, she finally heard wind and thought she found the exit, only to face another monster. The tunnel was built not for escape, but for the monsters. Movement. As Azrael turned back, she realized the way out led to the box again. But then something strange happened. The monster didn't attack. It sniffed her hand and left. Azrael noticed blood. Miriam's blood from their earlier fight. A disturbing thought crossed her mind. Could Miriam's unborn child be linked to the monsters? She escaped the box and returned to the camp. Setting it ablaze, she hid in the shadows. When Josephine came to put out the fire, Azrael shot her. Chaos followed. One by one, the survivors were eliminated. Only one remained, frantically searching. Azrael was already behind him. After eliminating everyone, she picked up a machete and stormed into Miriam's quarters.